Man, the people listening right now are like, wait, this is Boston has entered the chat, and we're hearing Yankees and Dodgers talk. What's going on? I will say credit to you, bro. You admitted one name that no Red Sox fan wants to hear. So credit to that right there.
Yes, very, very true.
We don't mention Voldemort here. Hey, I'm going to follow that up with, I think, the biggest surprise for me, and I'll bring it back home. It's the Red Sox. For them to even be in a wild card spot right now is what no one expected. And just think of the injuries that they've dealt with. Trevor Story's not coming back this season. That's been a known thing, and that was tough to see happen. Vaughn Grissom, who they traded Chris Sale for, and they said, we're going to bring this guy in. He's going to be our starting second baseman. Dealt with a groin, dealt with a hamstring, still in the IL. I don't know if he'll ever be right this season. Tristan Casas, starting first baseman, 60-day IL, banged up, gone down, who knows. But the emergence, and you talked about pitching, Andrew Bailey, as a pitching coach with Craig Breslow, a former pitcher for the Red Sox who won a World Series here, leading the way in that front office. What they have done with Tanner Houck is now the guy. A 2.18 ERA, sub-1 whip. Cutter Crawford is the guy as well. And they have both been phenomenal. With Garrett Whitlock going down, they extended Brian Bayo and gave him top 3 in a rotation money, and he's been anything but top 3 in the rotation. But as we see, as they start to delay his next start, that development is coming along to get him right. The pitching's holding it down. The offense is on fire. Jarren Duran is actually one of the best players in the league right now. This isn't some Boston propaganda to get him into the All-Star game. On the base path, with his bat, an everyday player. To go from a kid that we saw when he made his debut in Boston in 2021, messing with his hands, messing with his feet, his stance, every single game, not getting it right, confident shot, dealing with what he dealt with off the field. And he is a big proponent on caring for your mental health and coming through for that and ending the stigma that mental health and seeking out that help is bad for you. He's done all that while being the Red Sox best player, holding it down in the field. On the base paths, stealing bags at a ridiculous clip between him and Ceddanne Rafaela. The biggest surprise for me is this Red Sox team. Can they sustain it over 162? I want to see. Bullpen has held it down. Kenley Jansen has done what he needs to, given these leads, given these cushions, given what this team has done. But it is the top 2 pitchers for them and Houck and Cutter Crawford. And it is this lineup led by a bunch of young stars, but getting it done. Oh, and by the way, a guy I didn't mention, Rafael Devers, still hitting dingers whenever you need him to. But it has been the young studs that have stepped up. Some guys you didn't expect to be a big role. Connor Wong, we've seen it. Smart catcher, great hitter, does whatever you want for a team. He very well could be moved from the catcher spot because Kyle Teal is vaulting through the minor league program for the Red Sox. And he's a guy that's buying in, says, I'll play wherever you need me to do. I don't care. I'll go there. This Red Sox team has been a huge surprise for me. And you see the way they've been playing over the last month. They've won 8 of their last 10 games. I might be off by that. 8 of the last 11. Yeah. But they have pushed down 6-2. We know the rally they had just a few nights ago. Mm-hmm. But then the response they have from getting blown out by the Blue Jays to respond to them the next day the way they do. This is a team that has it all in front of them. And for them to be in the final wild card spot as we're halfway through the season is massive for Boston, massive for the Red Sox. Alex Cora is getting a buy-in from his guys. These young players are having fun, continuing to grow. The defense needs to improve, sure. But they're listening to their manager. They're being led by one another. And this is the healthiest I've seen this clubhouse in a long time. Not literal health, but I mean health of the environment that they're in. They want to play for each other. There's no butting heads. You don't hear anything with issues, with personalities clashing for the Red Sox at Fenway. And I think this is massive for this team. For them to take this step forward, and you have these young guys like a Duran, like a Rafaela, right? Mm-hmm. They're learning how to win when everything comes together. It could be this year, get into the playoffs in the wild card spot, great. But the long-term plan, we know who's coming up through the minors. When everything comes together, the Jarren Durans and the Rafaelas and the Tristan Casases, those are the leaders of the future of this team. And right now, they're learning how to win.
Yeah, and I think you forgot to mention just one more guy. I love Abreu as well. Abreu has been great over there and right. Now, before he entered the IL, he was batting a 270, and he had 22 extra base hits. And he has a 1.6 WAR. This dude has been a great young guy for this young Red Sox team, and he's going to continue to be for the future. There's no question about this Red Sox team. I love it so much. And I also wanted to bring this up because you brought up the 6-2 win. And it's my biggest moment of the year, honestly. Like, I love that win against the Blue Jays. And it's really because of Duran, which you talked about. And that moment, along with a moment that I'm going to talk about here in a second, is really just a testament to how much fun this Red Sox team has been to watch over the past couple of weeks. But going back to that moment, right? They're down 6-2 against the Blue Jays, who have been giving them trouble in the past, right? The Celtics are in the house celebrating the championship. So there's a lot of pressure on this young team to kind of not slide and be the team that they were last year, where they got hot around this time of the year and then they just kind of teetered off, right? And they go into the 8th inning, down 6-2. They get 2 home runs from 2 different guys. And then they come into the 9th, tied up 6-6. Duran is up to bat with Rafaela on second. And he gets a base hit, base knock, walk-off fashion with the Celtics in the building celebrating some more. A great Red Sox win. So I love that from Duran, but I also love that 2 days before that, right? Similar situation, close baseball game. They're up 1 in the bottom of the 9th on the road with the Cincinnati Reds. And Jansen needs help, right? Because Jansen is not really the strikeout guy that he used to be. He's more of a guy that's, throwing guys into ground balls and pop-ups nowadays, right? And that can be a little dangerous. So there was a ball getting ready to leave as they were up 4-3 with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. And what does Duran do? He scales back to that center field wall, reaches up, and just snags the souls of the Cincinnati Reds. So that was my favorite 2 moments of this entire baseball season so far, which is funny coming from the fact that we were talking about how we were talking about the Dodgers and the Yankees. But the Red Sox have my heart as far as my favorite moment from the season. What about you?
You know what that is, Tay, of you saying it's funny, that's your favorite moment? My man, that's growth. You've been in this city for a good while now. You're growing up. You're really becoming an adult, right? And I know I'm not like talking like I'm 30 and you're like 22, bro. Like you're 2 years younger than me, right? But you feel me? Like that's what's happened. As a guy from Jersey, I lived in Missouri for a few years. All of a sudden, I'm pulling for the teams in that area more. When I was in Wisconsin, Bucks, Packers, Brewers, Badgers, I still root for the Badgers to this day. It gave me an identity with college football because I'm not rooting for Rutgers. That's damn sure. Then you come to Boston and it's the same thing, right? You're in it every day. You're talking about it. Obviously, that's where we work, being at Nesson. We talk about sports. We talk about the Sox a lot. But when you're out and about, when I was here in 2021, the palpable excitement of the Red Sox making that surprise run to the ALCS because they had to get in on the last day of the season and they progressed through the rest, right? Yep. That's what makes it exciting. That's what makes you love it. It's called growth, my man. It's called growth.